Hello and good morning. This is the Breville Barista Pro BES878 in the sea salt color. As you saw in the photos, this machine is used. It does have some wear and tear. So mainly on the front there are a few chips. On the back, some scratches and just haziness on the metal. On the right hand side, there's some discoloration on the white panel. Some spotting. I think this machine used to be next to the stove on the previous owner's house. Other than that, it's a fully functional machine. I've just done a full service 3 days ago, so I did all the cleaning, checked all the O-rings, and yeah, the machine works fine. Works like new, no problems at all. And in this video, I'll be demonstrating every feature on it. So from grinding to the hot water tap to brewing and the steaming, of course. I made a coffee yesterday on it, and I used grind size number 5, and the shot ran a little bit too quickly. It was a bit too quick. So what I'll do today is I'm going to make a coffee on grind size number 2. If this was your first coffee machine, grind size is how large or how fine the coffee particles are that come out of the grinder, and a larger number correlates to a coarser, larger particle size, which if you use a larger grind size, the coffee will flow more quickly into the cup, and a finer size will slow it down, make it go more slowly and give you more crema as a result, because the particles are so fine, the water can't go through them too quickly. Hope that makes sense. Think of the grind size as if it's the speed of the coffee. I'll tell you my routine. So when I turn on the machine, I like to run a blank shot, so no coffee in the handle at all. Well, at least I don't think so. No coffee at all. I press the double button, put my cup underneath, and that's going to warm it up. It's going to run some hot water through the boiler coil, warm up the portafilter, and warm up the cup as well. Some coffee residue from yesterday's session. Drain that. Do it again. Do it once or twice, up to you. You know what? Because I'm using my small cup, I think I'm gonna have to do a magic, which is it's a latte, but it's a short latte. I'm also gonna use a small milk jug. The machine doesn't come with the milk jug or the canister or the knockbox, so just what you saw in the photos, the machine itself and some accessories in the tray inside. That's why it's discounted so heavily. But anyway, it's all done. We'll put it on top. Take out the portafilter. Grab a tissue. Make sure to dry it before you grind. Just to give you consistent results. This basket takes 18 grams of ground coffee, so that's what I'm going to aim for. 18 grams in, and out should be double. So when we make coffee, we should aim for a double ratio, which is 36 grams, so double of 18. But we'll get there when we get there. So 18 grams, I'm going to turn on my scale, make sure it's on 0 with the portafilter on. Now, you don't have to have a scale, but it just helps so much with setting up the machine and getting consistent results over time. So I'd highly recommend you get one if you don't have one already. Grind size number 2, I will put the amount on 13. What I'm going to do is I'm going to let it grind for about 6.5 seconds, which is half of 13. I'm going to let it grind for half of the time. Quickly measure what's that at. Quickly measure the weight, I mean. And then I'll resume. That should be 9 grams. And it's 8.1, that's fine. We'll let it go. We'll see what happens. And as you saw, Sorry, I was screaming at the phone. As you saw, I pressed it lightly, after the first dose, and that's to make way for the second dose. 16 grams. Okay, so in 13 seconds we got 16. So if we add another second, probably add another second and a half, it should be closer to 17, 18 grams. So I'll put it on 14 for you. So that means you grind for 7 seconds. Grind for 7 seconds, press, then grind again. The press halfway is to make way for the second dose. If you don't press halfway and you let it go for the full 14 seconds of grinding, it may spill some coffee as you take the portafilter out, and it will be a bit of a pain to put it all together without spilling. But anyway, I'll do that now. I'm basically spreading the coffee across the portafilter, so it's nice and even when I press it. I'll do that now. I'll get the tamper. So let's just confirm the weight. I think this was 16 grams. It's actually less than what we wanted, so we wanted another second, so 17. So 17 to 18 is okay. That's 17 and a half, perfect. So 14 seconds should give you about 17 and a half, which is great. If you do one more increment, may give you more than 18, which is not recommended. I'd rather be a gram under than a gram over, because a gram under will just mean that there's going to be a bit of a gap between the shower screen and the coffee, whereas a gram over means that as you lock in the portafilter, it's pressing the coffee into the handle, which is going to just ruin your shot. It's going to make the flow a bit slower than expected. But regardless, hopefully number 2 is not too fine. I made a coffee, like I said, on number 5, and it was running too quickly, and in 30 seconds it gave me, I think, 50 grams of coffee, so that's too quick. We want 40 grams, 36 grams approximately, 40 grams. So grind size 2 or 3 should do the trick for us. As you saw, I was pressing the coffee. It took me a while because I was talking, but what's important is that you press nice and evenly all across the surface, and you don't tilt it to one side or the other. And when you're done, it should be nice and clean like this. If there's any loose coffee across the rim, just wipe it off. What else? If you don't have a scale, you can just grind the coffee, spread it in the portafilter, press, and after you press, look at the depth of the tamper. This silver part is like a guide for you. It should disappear when you have the correct amount of coffee. So this is what's happening now. It's disappearing because we have exactly 17 and a half, 18 grams, which is the correct dose. If you finish grinding and you tamp, you press it and it's not going any deeper than this, that's too much coffee, and it's not going to be able to be put in the machine. If you have too little coffee and the tamper goes all the way, like halfway through the basket, then that's too little coffee. Hopefully, if you use the settings that I'm recommending today, approximately 14 seconds and grind size 2, you should be getting roughly what I'm getting if you use similar beans. So that's the aim of this demo video, is to make it easier for you to just get this machine home, start using it right away. Okay, a lot of talking. I'm going to get rid of this water. And before the espresso, this is where you add any flavors or sugar or sweetener. I'm going to add some hazelnut syrup, just a little bit. There we go. Cool. I'm going to zero my scale. Right, now I'm gonna make a coffee. I will go on to show you that the buttons are programmable. These two buttons, you have a single and a double. They are programmable to whatever length you like. So it's not a time-based brewing, it's a volume-based brewing. So it doesn't count the seconds, it counts milliliters of water going to the pump. So the timer on the screen is a guide, but it's not what it's measuring. It's measuring the flow. we'll do the double button. Oh, very nice. Looks like it's flowing nice at a nice pace. Symmetrical across both sides. Maybe a touch too quick. I don't know if that's a function of the grind size or the beans being a bit too old. Stop it there. That's only 3 seconds. And I think that's about 40 grams of coffee. I could be wrong. Let's have a look-see. That's 40.5. I'm slightly wrong. Let me show you. 40 grams of coffee. Good amount of crema. So that was a good shot, I would say. Not the best shot. Reason is it wasn't at 30 seconds. The recommended duration for an espresso is 2-to-1 ratio for 30 seconds. So in 30 seconds we get 36 grams. We got 40 grams in 23 seconds. So it's running a little bit too quick. What I could do is I could go to grind size number 1, and I can assure you that that's going to slow it down to what we want, to about 35-36 seconds approximately. But I'm not going to do that because this is a good shot and I'm not going to chuck it in the bin. And 2 is when you get the machine, you may not use the exact same beans as me. I'm using, I think it was the Aldi dark beans. Good beans, not the best, but not the worst. Certainly for a supermarket bean, Aldi is probably one of the better ones. But if you want the best quality, go to the local cafe or the local roaster near your house and buy their beans, or just order fresh beans online. Don't go to the supermarket for beans because most of the beans in the supermarkets are old and stale and won't make a good coffee like you want. But without much talking, basically, I'm not gonna do another coffee because you will get different results by a little bit. Make a coffee with these settings, so grind size number 2, 14 seconds, grind time, and brew time. Use the double button. You can use the single if you want a shorter shot, but I've used the double button. I've programmed it to give you about what I got now. 35-40 grams is what you'll be getting if you make coffee on this machine with the double button. Cool, I'm happy with that. So you have one more grind size on the screen, so it goes obviously down to 1, not 0. But if you want to go even lower than that, there's an internal mechanism that you can adjust, but I wouldn't adjust it unless you absolutely have to. So the basic, the factory setting is 6 on the internal, on the burr itself, on the blade. It goes from 1 to 10, and the factory setting is 6. I would leave it there, and if I ever need to change it, I would go to 5, and 5 only, not 4 or 3 or 2. Because as you can see, we already are getting pretty good coffees at grind size 2, maybe grind size 1 if you need to. But if you, over time, maybe in a year or 2, if you need to adjust the grinder, you have more adjustments here. So don't be afraid, this is not the end of the grind range. Okay, now that that's out of the way, let's actually complete this coffee. Oh, well, this magic coffee. Oof. Very strong, I like that. I'm gonna get some milk. So I'm using full cream, cow's milk, right from the fridge. Better to use cold milk because it'll froth better in over time. If you use warm milk or room temperature milk, you don't have too much time to give it that texture, that aeration that you should. Whereas if it's cold, it's like a blank canvas, you have more to play with. Before I clean, I'm quickly gonna knock off the coffee. So I've got my bin here. One good knock and it's out. That's the beauty of this sort of basket. It's really easy to clean. And then to flush, I like to, instead of going to the sink to clean it that way, I use some water from the machine, dispensed by the machine. That's going to clean the internals, like the shower screen and the grip head, and the portafilter at the same time. So you're skipping one step essentially. Instead of cleaning them separately, you clean them in one motion. Give it a good wipe if you want. It's nice for the machine to clean it as much as you can if you have the time. Get rid of that. Okay, the portafilter you can store here. You can lock it in slightly, not all the way, because you don't want to put too much pressure on that rubber seal. So you can either lightly press it in there, or just keep it here. It's going to dry even better, like that. Milk. Oh, hot water tap before I forget. Turn on the hot water tap by turning the knob away from you. Looks like it hasn't been used in a while. There we go. That's much better. Make sure everything's alright. There we go. That's going to give you clean hot water right from the boiler. So it's going to bypass the group head. It's going to bypass the group head. It's not going to give you coffee granules in your hot water. So it's clean. The only disadvantage I would say, if I'm being honest, is because this machine is a quick sort of express machine. It turns on quickly. The water output isn't the hottest from factory, so it's gonna burn you, but not right away. Yeah, you can increase the temperature by going to the settings and increasing it by 2 steps. But yeah, it's hot water output is not its strong suit, if I'm being honest. So if you drink long black coffees, I would recommend use the kettle for the hot water. Steam turns on very quickly. Within 5 seconds, it's up and running. What I'm gonna do is so I've got milk about halfway. Turn it off, turn it back on. And for about 5 seconds, I'm gonna keep the tip close to the surface of the milk. And I've done that already. That's gonna give the milk some air, some texture. And once the 5 seconds are up, I'm gonna raise the jug, and that's gonna stop it injecting air into the milk. That's going to, now instead of frothing it, it's just steaming it. Instead of giving it fluffiness, now I'm just warming it up. And it's spinning in a vortex around the milk jug. I'm probably not doing a great job of teaching you what to do, so there's heaps of videos online to teach you how to do that. But that's done. Before I pour the milk, I'm going to quickly grab a wet towel and wipe the wand. It gets really hot, obviously it's metal and it's got steam going through it. So you want to wipe it off as soon as you can. The sooner you clean it, the easier. Otherwise what will happen? It'll dry, it'll form a crust, and you'll need to get some hot water and soap to get rid of it. So clean it as soon as you can, would be my recommendation. And if you're struggling, just get some warm water from the group head or from the hot water tap that we just tested now. That's going to help it soften the milk. Awesome. It's all done. Now, that's how you do a latte or a magic latte on the Breville Barista Pro. Okay, so what I'm doing here is I'm knocking the jug on the counter to break any big air bubbles, and then I'm swirling around to mix it up. Now it looks very smooth, almost like wet paint. That's what you should be aiming for. Oh, I love this jug. I love this machine. It makes so good. It makes milk so good, and so easy to make a latte out with. Well, maybe that, or I'm just getting more skilled at making coffee. I think that's a leaf or a tulip. I can't remember what they call it. But yeah, you just learn the technique, learn the hand motions, and I'm sure you can do better latte art than me. But yeah, that's the Barista Pro. Hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions or concerns, please don't hesitate in contacting me, and hope you enjoy your new machine. Cheers.